Well, it's time for Eric's Heroes, and this week we meet an Eastern Washington farmer at harvest time.
Maybe you've been out driving somewhere in the middle of the state and wondered to yourself, why do people live clear out here like this? Tonight's story about a man named Larry Yockey will answer that question. Larry and all his friends are my heroes. The dirt and the wheat and the wide open sky of a hard, hot land is where Larry Yockey came to be and came to stay. The same goes for his father and his grandfather and his great-grandfather before that. He walks the same paths they walked, lives in the same house they lived in, works the same 2,400 acres they worked.
It's kind of funny. I've had conversations with other people that have tech jobs, engineering jobs, all this, and they go, well, what do you do for a living? I says, no, not much. I just grow food. They'll look at me and think about that, and they go, well, that's kind of important. I says, yeah, it is.
That's Larry on the left, many, many harvests ago. This place, this way of life, it's his history and his future and his everything in between.
This is more than just a job. It's 24/7. You can see out here, wide open country. We love it out here. We know everybody. We got neighbors here. We know everybody from all the towns around here. I know people from 60, 70 miles around here.
There's a picture of Larry and one of his daughters, Amanda, looking out, and it's easy to imagine the two of them standing there, considering the farm and the life and the road they have taken. Some time ago, he was having back pains, and it wasn't going away, so he had some tests done.
Well, they diagnosed me with melanoma. Immediately, they sent me through all the tests, and it already spread all throughout my skeletal structure. So it was already at stage 4.
They've knocked it back some, but with harvest season around the corner and Larry carrying around a cracked hip and 2 cracked ribs, something had to give.
I don't look like it, but I just flat can't do it. Doctors said no.
That's when a guy named Brian Doyle and a guy named Jim Hyder went to work.
Kind of reached out to the guys, so the guys that didn't have to move real far, you know, with the equipment and things, and then word of mouth.
And so the other morning, a bunch of trucks showed up at Larry's place and 60 or so neighbors. And there were 17 combines and 12 tractors with bank-out wagons, and the whole bunch of them started cutting down Larry's wheat. They call it a harvest bee. It's when all the hearts of all the farmers from all around come together to beat as one. Brian conducted.
Start migrating this way, we'll put you in with DeWalt and Duggar and maybe send one to Kimball.
They chewed up a year's worth of Larry Yockey's sweat and spit it out into the wagons.
It's just awe-inspiring to see how fast these fields are evaporating now under these machines. It's just amazing.
And all Larry could do was stand there and say thank you to anyone who would listen.
Oh, just gratitude, like you. It's not describable, the gratitude I have for what's going on today. I'd say it's just an amazing feeling.
They did in 6 hours what it normally takes Larry and 3 or 4 hired hands 3 long weeks to do. Then they all quietly slipped away to work on their own farms, each knowing full well that he'd do the same for them. The next morning, Larry drove around the farm and looked over what had happened, and he said it was like magic. Of course, there's still the matter of the cancer, and Larry says a little more magic there would be nice too.
I'm buying time now, but you always keep your fingers crossed. Of course, you hope you can lick it, you know. But some people ask, well, why do you keep trying to still hang on farming? I says, it's what I do. And that's the best way I can stay positive, do what I can do out here.
There's that picture of Larry and one of his daughters, Amanda, looking out. Now you will understand why. Spread out before them, as plain as day, was the reason Larry Yockey farms. The reason he loves the dirt and the wheat and the wide open sky of a hard, hot land. Just like his father and his grandfather and his great-grandfather before that.
I told him, I said, you got to get that picture framed. And he said, I plan on doing that.
Think about that. 3 weeks worth of work. It's
Yeah.
not just delivering one night's,
No.
dinner or something like that. It's their
And they
blood,
c-
sweat, tears.
They call harvest time the moneymaker.
Yeah.
That's hugely important to these people. So I think we all have a better understanding now
My
of why you live
gosh.
in a place like Ritzville.